sister. There's my sister. She's taking her son to school. 25 miles an hour is too slow, y'all. I'm just telling you. Alright, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to a school zone. I like obeying the law. Okay, I don't like getting a ticket for not obeying the law. How about that? So every morning I eat Greek yogurt, blueberries, and then I do steel cut oats in there. And mix that up and go. So I'm trying to do some healthy things, and something said, oh, you should add chia seeds to this same concoction, which is weird because literally to name off everything I'm already doing and say you should have and chia seeds. So I get some chia seeds. And first of all, I didn't realize, I just thought these little seeds, how many calories could it possibly have? It's actually shocking how many calories they have. I don't even remember the measurement, but it was like 150 calories was like, I don't know, a fourth of a cup sounds much. I don't even think it's that much. I think it's like 2 tablespoons. Anyway, so I'm putting this in my oatmeal now. Here's the interesting thing. After I eat the oatmeal, the yogurt, the chia seeds kind of explode. Like they were dehydrated, and they've suddenly been rehydrated. So I have chia seeds in my mouth for a few minutes after I eat the yogurt. I'm like, oh, it's weird. I hope that's not gross. I'm just telling you. I met with my life coach yesterday, and I told him I had some success, from our meeting the week before. And say, what was different? I said, well, I'm ready for a change, and in theory, I've got you as my accountability. And he was talking. He said, oh well, and I said, here's the problem I'm having. I don't like doing things that are mundane, and I don't like things that encourage red tape. Do not like those. So he said, oh, well, you do like a reward system, I said, I don't think the 2 marshmallow things will work for me, but but he's like, oh, if you do the Excel spreadsheet, you get ice cream, and if you do this other thing, you get to go to dinner with your wife. I'm like, no, I love going to dinner with my wife. Would go to dinner with my wife anytime. Would love that. But I'm gonna tell you, filling out an Excel spreadsheet, the reward of going to dinner with my wife is too big a reward for filling out an Excel spreadsheet. Something mundane that I should just do. So I'm telling him about this. I said, hey, there's this. I read this book. I don't know which one. I read a lot of books. So, okay, I listen to a lot of books. How about that? You decide if I read them or not. I know cognitively you don't get as much out of an audio book as you do reading a book. It much more brain connection, but that's a different topic. But the thought was, in the book, there was a sales guy. He just started his company, and the job involved making cold calls to people and trying to sell them something. So he came in the first day of work with 2 jars, and the first jar was full of paper clips and the other jar was empty. And he would pull out a list and he would make a phone call, and every time he made a phone call, he would move a paper clip from the full jar to the empty jar. And he felt his day was not done until the empty jar was completely full of the paper clips. And because he did that, because he made so many calls, he became their most successful salesperson. That's a way to set your mind. I'm going to do something. So, I'm like thinking, I think you're on to something. I need a reward system, but I need something that's more on the lines with I'm moving paper clips from one jar to the other than going to dinner with my wife. I don't need an excuse to go to dinner with my wife. I would love to go to dinner with my wife like every single day of my life for the rest of my life. Granted, eating out's not that healthy for either of us, but that's a different topic. And just spending time with my wife is the awesome part. So I then go to ChatGPT and say, here's my dilemma, here's my puzzle, here's my thought process, and what do you think? And I told her to ask me some questions to kind of quantify and qualify, and I told her all that stuff I just told you, and she had some good stuff. I haven't gone back and answered her questions yet because I ran out of time. But we always think we're different. Always think we're different. We think the things that work for other people are not going to work for us because we're different. And it could be we are, but it also could be that we aren't. So will doing an Excel spreadsheet earning ice cream work for me? Yeah, probably. But I don't need ice cream, so it's a dangerous reward right now. That would be the thing that I would need at this point. But it's been 2 weeks since... No, sorry. Better not get laid, something up to bed. Anyway, I've got to get where these things that must be done because we have established a bureaucracy that forces them to be done gets done. Because the other thought was malicious compliance. Oh, I'm going to do exactly what you asked me to do. Exactly. To the letter. And you're going to find out you're insane for asking it the way you asked it. No, I know what the intent is. I see where they're trying to go. It's a dumb way to do it, but that's fine. I'm not going to do malicious compliance because first, I like my company, and second, I like myself. So, and I also very much believe in the mantra of do no harm. I'm not a physician. I'm not Google. I also believe in the mantra of do no evil. But I can't help what pops in my head, so I have to pray about it. Anyway, I will solve this dilemma. I will come up with a solution. I need a workflow. There's got to be some way I can automate filling out these spreadsheets, But then, unfortunately, I have to give it information. So, there's no way I can take all the manual work out of it. It's stuck there. So, let me teach you a new word. For some of you, it's not a new word. The word is nemawashi. Nemawashi. It's a Japanese term. I don't know if it's slang or a real word, but it means to socialize something before you ask, so to speak. So I'll give you an example. It would be talk to a bunch of people to let them know, hey, I'm getting ready to ask you for money for a project, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the project ahead of time, so that when you hear about it, you'll know where it's coming from, and you'll have a feeling already and an opinion. And so, that socialization of a project before it goes out, there is a word for it called nemawashi. And that's it. That's the word for the day. Yeah. All right. You have an amazing day. It's Friday. It's exciting. I got some stuff to do, and so I got to go do some stuff. So I hope you have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. I am really hoping to start working on that video that I am now appear to be procrastinating. I have all the pieces. I have zero excuses. I must begin creation. I'll admit, I have some apprehension because I don't think it's going to go as well as I want. I know, oh man, it's not going to go as well. I want this to be so cool. I want it to be so slick, If I can film it the way I want, I may be willing to pay somebody to edit this video so that the edit turns out right. You know? Can't afford to do that very often. Actually, I can't afford to do it at all, but I'm willing to do that. Yeah. Somebody's really good at editing videos, let me know. I'm not bad, but I'm not great. I am middle of the road. Probably a little less than middle of the road now that I think about it. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am a 4. If 10 is Francis Ford Coppola. And 1 is what? Plan 9 from Outer Space. Oh no, okay. Yeah. Alright. Or Steven Spielberg. Yeah, that's really not fair because that's all about editing. And so we'd have to talk about the great movie editors, not the movie directors. And actually, Plan 9 from Outer Space is a must watch once. You gotta watch it once because I'm sure that there's Mystic Science Theater 3000 about that movie. I haven't watched it, but I'm sure it's out there. All right, I'm talking too much. Have a great day.